This is way better than we thought as we have multiple crucial injury updates as it pertains to the Toronto Maple Leafs, specifically regarding Chris Tanev and an interesting one surrounding Max Pacioretty. We also have an update on William Nylander, who didn't play in overtime in yesterday's game. A ton of updates to go over today, but before we get into it, folks, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button if you're a part of the percentage who are not subscribed to the channel. We're inching closer and closer to 15,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your guys' support has been unbelievable, and about 70% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed to the channel. But there is, we had a video earlier today on some trade talks that continue to pick up. Some new reports are dropping. We're going to keep you up to date on that. But we got some huge information on the off day for the Leafs today surrounding Chris Tanev and William Nylander, as well as Patches. And obviously coming into today, after yesterday's big win against the Bruins in overtime, the biggest conversation and the biggest sticking point surrounding the Leafs was Chris Tanev's health and William Nylander, because they both, Tanev only played 49 seconds, and of course, William Nylander didn't play in overtime. We have some encouraging updates surrounding some of those guys. And this is breaking news here. Chris Tanev is day-to-day and seen as unlikely to play Friday against the Rangers. Overall, not too bad. We have a couple other reports as well. But Darius, this is actually very, very crucial. There were some rumblings that he was going to, some concerns that he was going to miss a week, 2 weeks, whatever it ended up being, because we've seen injuries before this season, especially, and specifically for the Leafs, be very bad. It seems like everybody's going to be good, not necessarily for the game on Friday against the Rangers, but heading into next week, we should be fully healthy once again.
Yeah, this is definitely good news. I mean, the report last night, or the rumors, I guess, last night from some insiders was that he was leaving the arena last night at in Boston in a cast, right? In some sort of sling or something like that. So obviously you see that and you're like, oh boy, this guy's going to be out long term. And he's been great for the Leafs. I mean, what a difference maker he's been this season for this Leafs team on the back end. And he's been an Iron Man too. He's only missed one game this season. Looks like he's going to miss Friday now, which will be his second game, but he's been blocking shots. He's been doing the ugly things, and he's been playing every single game this year. So you see that paired with the fact that he only played, less than a minute. He only played one shift, and you're like, this is probably bad news. But we get a good update. Doesn't seem like it's anything too serious. And even if it is, he's probably going to play through it anyway. It's just the type of player he is. But, it's good to see that it's nothing serious, and he is going to be back with the team probably this weekend, probably Sunday against Pittsburgh, which is good. But a couple other injury updates to get to today, and some interesting ones too.
Yeah, so Tanev should be good for next week's games, and especially down the stretch here as they continue to hold on to the Atlantic Division and the number one spot there. But yeah, you mentioned, I think there was rumors about a brace or whatever it was with his injury, and now he's going to be back, according to Craig Berube, sometime very, very soon. Now, regarding William Nylander, also, we figured in yesterday's stream and the video this morning that Willie was going to be fine, especially because he was still on the bench, albeit wasn't playing in overtime. So his injury from last night seems to be minor, and Max Pacioretty is improving. Both are seen as possibilities to play Friday versus the Rangers. Now, we'll focus on both of these guys, and we can look at some of the lines here at practice. And again, this was a very broken practice because it was an optional one. A lot of guys are dealing with little things. Tanev, obviously Nylander. Everybody, as it is, makes some sense here. But for William Nylander especially, it's good to see him be okay. And Pacioretty, which we'll dive into in a little bit here as well, said something interesting about his timeline. But as it pertains to William Nylander, he also is looking very, very likely to play on Friday. And I would assume Willie's going to play, and I'd say Pacioretty is probably going to take it off Friday.
Yeah, I think Pacioretty's probably not going to play just because of his age and the nature of whatever he's dealing with, and he's been dealing with stuff all season. We knew it was going to happen. I keep saying it time and time again at the beginning of the season that we knew he was going to miss time due to injury, or just because, they were going to scratch him sometimes because he is a little bit older, obviously. But the Nylander one is interesting. He never left the bench. Obviously, he was dealing with something. You could see that he was in discomfort, and then obviously didn't play the entire overtime. But the fact that he didn't leave the bench was a good thing to me, a good sign. Now, he is obviously dealing with something that isn't great because, if he's questionable to play Friday, that is something that he's clearly dealing with. So, you know what? I think it's a big game against the Rangers. You want to stay in first place, but if Nylander's not 100% or even close, if something's bothering him, give him that game off. You're going to play Pittsburgh the next game anyway. You should pick up a couple wins, if not at least one win this weekend. So, maybe give him the day off and see if somebody else can kind of take that opportunity and run with it. Like maybe an Alex Steves, you move him up in the lineup, right? Something like that. Just see what those guys have, and Reeves can come back into the lineup on the fourth line. So, if he's not even close to 100%, he's dealing with something, don't play against the Rangers, right? And same goes for Pacioretty. We want him back for the playoffs to play the way that he was when he was most effective this season. He's gotten away from that. So if he's not even close to 100%, don't play. Wait till he's good to go. And Pacioretty's is a freak one to me. Nylander, I get it, right? Yesterday's game got kind of physical at the end. Probably got a slash or something like that. Pacioretty, we have no idea what happened. Like it was a non-contact injury. Those sometimes are the worst ones too. So we don't know what he's dealing with, but the fact that it looks like he could be nearing a return it's probably not too serious, which is a good thing.
Yeah, he came out today and spoke to the media and basically said he doesn't know when he's going to return. He's going to have to ask his trainer, and he didn't really. I don't know if he said he didn't know what happened or he doesn't want to elaborate at the very least on
Right.
what the actual injury is. So, some interesting things going on. Nothing new to us as Leafs fans. Unfamiliar with. We're very familiar with players being secretive in the front office, especially being secretive with injuries. But as it pertains to lineup moves, Philip Myers is going to be playing tomorrow, so the Leafs are making some moves on that front. He hasn't played in a while because Craig Berube has been running with the same lineup over and over again over the past 3 games, and they've won all those 3 games. So it's gonna be very interesting there. Also, of course, John Tavares and Alex Steeves in the practice facility tonight or this afternoon. Sorry, both of them were the last ones out. John Tavares and Alex Steeves, and you like to see that. Obviously, the veteran and John Tavares giving some. I'm sure giving some tips and feeding his knowledge into Alex Steeves, who's done pretty good in his time with the Leafs this season, his very brief stint. And also, one other thing to note is, of course, the Lions had patches at practice, so there is a chance he plays, but you have to assume that Ryan Reeves is going to factor into the lineup tomorrow because of Rempe, on Rangers tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of moving parts. Again, we've seen for the past couple of games, past few games, the Leafs running similar lineups. Or the same lineup actually. That's going to change in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, it's going to change. And I mean, they've been playing really well, but obviously it calls for it in this game. Like, it's not changing it for the sake of changing it. Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries, so they're going to change it for that reason. Reeves has to play tomorrow night because Rempe is going to play for the New York Rangers. They've been on a bit of a roll. He's been playing good for them as of late, so he's going to factor into their lineup. Reeves has to factor into the Leafs lineup. I don't know if they're going to fight, right? It is in New York. It's a Friday night. Fireworks could happen, but I don't know if they're actually going to fight. But Reeves has to be in the lineup as like a deterrent. He has to be kind of that person for the Leafs tomorrow night. So I think Reeves gets back in. I think Steve's, barring Nylander's, anything with that, will probably move up in the lineup. And I like this too. Tavares staying out longer, leading by example. The Leafs need more of this. Not that they need more of this, but you like to see stuff like this, right? So leading by example with the young guys, just been called up from the Marlies. So love to see that. And I think Steve's, he's been playing really well. So if he's given an opportunity to play with some more skilled players, I think he could probably show out.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. The Leafs on a bit of a winning streak now, and hopefully they can continue to ride that. A couple other things. Craig Berube and the defense, Tanev out in Boston and Friday. I thought Mo and OEL were great last night. Yeah, they're going to have to step up, but all the defensemen are going to have to step up and do their job. They have to dig and step up. Ultimately, you have guys who are capable of doing that, whether that be Jake McCabe, whether that be Chris Tanev in his absence. When Chris Tanev has stepped up in the absence of some of the other guys this season, whether that be Morgan Rielly not performing as well, Jake McCabe being out a little bit of time of injury. So now they have to step up if he's going to miss any more time than the couple of games that we're hoping he misses, or not obviously not hoping he misses, but hoping, given the injury, he doesn't miss too much time. Yeah, exactly. They can keep that going. So it's going to be interesting and excited to see what happens here. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Joseph Woll. He's obviously in his involvement with the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. The Woll, the Leafs goaltender, has found a way to give back to his community through his partnership with the CAMH. And of course, now it's great to see that players are doing that. Any thoughts on this, Darius? Always good to see any player across the NHL donating to these causes and contributing in any way they can. And Joseph Woll, great person, great goalie. It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a great story. I wanted to bring this up because, the Leafs have strong ties with sick kids, for example, and they do a lot of things and activations, over the last couple of years. And this too with Joseph Woll, he's been doing this for a while with Cam H down there downtown. So I think that's, I just wanted to highlight it. I think it's great. And the fact that he's, shedding light on it too is fantastic. So shout out to Joseph Woll. He continues to not only be a great goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but a great person. He's doing his thing in the community.
Yeah, and he'll probably start their next game in a couple days. So that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. And let us know if you're happy about these updates. Ultimately, compared to what we were expecting, it's a lot better than we all had thought. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.